Hello, 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 hello. You are watching The Merchant of Venice and of course here on Study with Sudhir. My name is T.S. Sudhir. We are looking at Act 3, Scene 5. Now, why is this particular scene significant? Not a very long scene. The significance of the scene is that, see, remember, MOV is actually a comic play. It is listed as one of Shakespeare's comedies. So, this is a comic element between all the scenes of worry, that is preparing for the trial scene, and the heavy duty court scene in Act 4 Scene 1, and the entire anxiety over what Shylock will do to good old Antonio. Also, in order to factor in the passage of time for Portia and Nerissa to travel from Belmont to Venice, for Balthazar to travel from Belmont to Padua and then to Venice, and for the trial scene to take place. This particular scene acts as an interlude. So it shows William Shakespeare's attention to detail and be able to think in terms of the overall appearance on stage, because all these plays of Shakespeare were staged. So he kind of ensured that the screenplay, in that sense, or the play was written in such a manner that there were no kind of what in modern lingo we would refer to as jump cuts. Okay, now we start with the clown of the play, Launcelot. Launcelot says, "Yes, truly, for look you, the sins of the father are to be laid upon the children. Therefore I promise you, I fear you, I was always plain with you. And so now I speak my agitation of the matter. Therefore be of good cheer, for truly I think you are damned." And he is saying this to Jessica. So the other characters who have not been there in previous scenes to a large extent are now present in this particular scenes. Launcelot, Jessica, Lorenzo. Launcelot says, "Yes, it is true that children are punished for the sins of the father," and he's referring specifically to Jessica as a result of whatever sins have been committed by her father, Jew Shylock. And he says, "That's why I'm worried for you. That's why I'm worried about you, because I have always said my mind, spoken my mind with you as far as, whatever the truth be concerned. So therefore, I'm telling you what I think. You need to cheer up, because I think you're actually going to hell." And why does he think so? He says there is actually only one hope for you, and even that is a bit of an illegitimate hope. That's why he says, "I think you are damned." Okay, so basically a bit of a biblical reference saying that children get punished for the sins committed by their parents, by the father in this particular regard, right? Laid upon means in terms of revenge, right? So I fear for you. Now agitation, essentially, he's not actually meaning the word agitation. He means cogitation, but he ends up saying agitation out here, right? Jessica says, "I shall be saved by my husband because he hath made me a Christian." So you see again the entire theme of Jews versus Christian kicking in out here. Now Jessica by birth obviously is a Jew because she's the daughter of Shylock, but because she's now going to marry Lorenzo, who is a Christian, she thinks that is what will actually save her. So Launcelot replies saying that, well, he was wrong to do that, right? He was wrong to do that in order to marry you. That is referring to their marriage. And he says, as it is, there were so many Christians, right? In fact, so many that, they would end up all standing and living next to each other. There is so much of a crowded space as far as Christianity is concerned. And all these new Christians, referring to the likes of Jessica, will make the price of hogs as in pigs, go up. If we all are pork eaters, that is referring to pig meat, we won't be able to get our hands on a slice of bacon, even if we have got the money for it. Basically saying that, there will be more demand, means that the supply will be less, and therefore the price of pork will actually go up, will actually shoot up, right? So, rasher on the coals essentially is reference to slice of bacon being cooked on the fire, right? E now essentially means enough. Okay, enough. We were Christians enough before. So Jessica says, "I'll tell my husband Launcelot what you are saying now." Oh, okay, here he comes. Lorenzo enters. Lorenzo says, I shall grow jealous of you shortly, Lancelot, if you thus get my wife into corners. So he says that if you are going to keep getting my wife and speaking to her in corners, I am going to get a little jealous, if you are able to kind of converse quietly with her. Jessica says, no, you do not fear for that. You don't need to worry about that, Lorenzo. Lancelot and I actually cannot agree on anything on this earth, because he says that I can't get into heaven because I am the daughter of a Jew. And he says you are irresponsible because by converting Jews into Christians, you are actually raising the price of pork, right? So a little bit of a ridiculous kind of a conversation which has absolutely no connection with the rest of the play, except for the theme of Christianity and Jews. The whole looking down upon Jews that happens, at least as far as the Christian community is concerned, and we have spoken about that in detail in Act 1, Act 3 to an extent, Scene 1, and also to an extent we will see that in Act 4 during the trial scene. So she says, go in and tell the servants to get ready for dinner. Okay, Lancelot says that has already been done, and Lorenzo says, what a clown you are, tell them to make the dinner, right? Wit snapper is how he refers to Lancelot as, and that has also been done. The word that you are looking for is cover, so there is again a bit of a punning and usage of wrong words out there, because Lorenzo is basically asking Lancelot to cover, meaning to say to lay the cloth on the dining table, right? Which means to kind of arrange the table with plates and dishes. But in what way does Lancelot use the word cover? He kind of tries to use the word cover in terms of wearing the hat, right? So he says he will not wear the hat in the presence of his superiors, that is Lorenzo and Jessica, because he knows his duty as a servant, right? So he's taking it in a different kind of sense, and they kind of keep chatting about it. Now Lorenzo says, yet more coddling with occasion, wilt thou show the whole wealth of your wit in an instant? I pray thee, understand a plain man in his plain meaning. Go to thy fellows, bid them cover the table. So he's getting exasperated. He's getting irritated with Lancelot not understanding even simple and straight words, what he intends to convey. Lancelot, about the table, sir, dinner will be served on it. As for the food, it will be served in covered dishes. As for your coming into dinner, just do what you feel right. So basically a man given to speaking too much, बहुत बोलता है, बहुत बातूनी है. Now Lorenzo, this other piece of dialogue is important. It says, oh dear discretion, how his words are suited. The fool hath planted in his memory an army of good words. So if you get a character analysis of Lancelot, please do use these kind of phrases. Uses an army of good words, and I do know a many fools that stand in better place, garnished like him, that for a tricksy word defy the matter, right? Tricksy word essentially basically meaning to say a word which has a double meaning, which can be used for playing tricks. So he says, oh, he's very good at bending words around. The fool has memorized a whole army full of fancy words, fanciful words, and I know jesters, that is clowns, in better positions with better talents than he has. They also digress, that is deviate from the topic, by playing around with words, by playing around with language. Anyway, how are you, Jessica? And then he kind of starts conversing with Jessica. And did you like Portia, that is Bassanio's to-be, wife to be? Jessica says, I like her more than I can say. Bassanio should actually have an absolutely outstanding life, married life with Portia, because having a wife like Portia is actually being blessed. It's actually a blessing. It is as if he has found heaven here on earth. He finds the joys of heaven here on earth, right? And if he does not deserve this joy on earth, and if on earth he do not merit it, in reason he should never come to heaven. If he does not deserve these joys here on earth, he does not deserve it in heaven either. Imagine what would happen. Why if two gods should play some heavenly match, and on the wager laid two earthly women, and Portia won, there must be something else spawned with the other, for the poor rude world hath not her fellow. Basically trying to say that what would have happened if two gods in heaven made a bet, and one of them used Portia to wager, as in bet on Portia, the other god would actually have a hard time also thinking of another woman to also place as a bet. It also shows the kind of status of women, spoken ironically by a woman out here, Jessica, status of women in that kind of a Shakespearean society in the 16th century. So she says the poor world would actually, the poor rude world will not have another match. So while she's intending to praise Portia to the skies, the manner in which she is doing it not exactly complementary to the status of women in the society of that time. Right? So Lorenzo says, as good a wife as she is, that's how good a husband as I am. So basically praises himself. And Jessica says, well, I will judge that. So he says, I will give you a chance to judge later. Let's first go to dinner. So basically flirting with each other. So Jessica says, no, let me say good things about you while I'm in the mood. So Lorenzo says, no, please save it for the dinner conversation while we are having the dinner which Lancelot is laying the table for, and that way no matter what you say I will digest it with everything else. So he's kind of expecting something not very complimentary, as I said, some kind of flirtatious behavior, but he says I will digest it along with the dinner that I will have. So Jessica says, in that case I will serve you up like a dish of food. I mean, not very great and very important kind of lines out there. So now the word out there, the word stomach which has been used by Jessica, that's the only significant part because it's a bit of a pun. So Jessica says that he should let her praise him while she's in the mood to do so, while she's inclined to praise Lorenzo, and she puns on the word stomach. Now why does she pun on the word stomach? Because she's basically trying to say that she should praise him before dinner while she still has the appetite for it. You know, while once she has dinner, she may not really feel like having the appetite to praise Lorenzo. So that kind of a thing. What does this scene reveal about Lancelot? Lancelot, of course, the most important scene is the Act 2, Scene 2. But this one is another one where he does make an appearance, and basically more to kind of lend the comic element as far as the play is concerned, and also that whole Jew and Christian kind of a conflict, right? So yet another scene which is kind of filling up the space ahead of the all important trial scene. Thank you very much for watching. I hope MOV is largely clear and you would be able to do fantastically well in the questions coming from the Merchant of Venice. Thank you very much for watching. God bless you.